Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Welcome to the 5th episode of the Meet the Mancunian podcast. Every week, I aim to introduce you to an interesting Mancunian from this culturally diverse city, Manchester. We will hear from ordinary people making an extraordinary impact. Presented by Deepa Thomas Sutcliffe, newbie Mancunian. Tune in every week for a new episode. Looking to find your creative spark? We hear from Anthony Parker, a teacher and a poet in this episode. So I'm delighted to introduce my guest, Anthony Parker, a primary teacher by day and a poet by night. Thank you, Anthony, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you. So, Anthony, tell us, how did you find your passion for poetry?
It all started with going to a poetry night and hearing some poets like Tony Walsh and some other poets reading their poetry, and I was really sort of drawn into it. So I thought, why not give it a try? And here I am, 11 years later, still doing it.
Lovely. So tell us about how you started using your skill with poetry, or your creative skills with poetry, to support charities.
It came about, I post a lot of my poems on Twitter, and obviously hearing about issues such as homelessness and the food bank crisis in the country. And I'm not the most sporty person, so other people do like things like marathons and half marathons, and I just thought, oh, why don't I see if I ask for requests for poems based on all manner of themes, just to see if people would sponsor me for doing that. And it went from there, and I posted something on Twitter about it, and I got quite a lot of likes and responses from it. So I started doing poems by request, initially to raise money for Mustard Tree, which is a homelessness charity within Manchester, and later on to do the same for Fair Share as well. And it just sort of took off from there. I think the Fair Share one raised about £500 or something like that. And I also did self-published a book to raise money for homelessness charities and Mind as well. And again, the response from it was quite staggering, really.
Wonderful. So tell us about what inspired you to get involved, and is there one particular charity that you want to talk about, or a variety of causes? You can talk about anything.
Walking through Manchester, obviously seeing the amounts of homelessness, and obviously hearing about the housing crisis, prompted me to want to do something to get involved and help out with the homelessness charities. And hearing about obviously the work Marcus Rashford was doing with Fair Share and the school meals crisis. I do work in a primary school, and obviously seeing firsthand the issues that some of these families were facing with having difficulty getting hold of food and having to rely on food banks, etc., made me want to get involved with Fair Share as well.
We'd love to hear one of your poems. Could you read one of your favourite poems for us, please?
Here is my poem, My City. My city is building upwards, gleaming glass towers soaring skywards, standing proud, whilst homeless folk lie huddled on the ground. My city of Ancoats Flats to New Islington high-rises, where privilege and poverty walk hand in hand. A sports car races past, a commuter standing at the bus stand. Such a gulf between them. Manktopia could be utopia if only we opened our eyes.
That was so moving. Thank you so much for sharing the poem with me and my listeners. So, who is it that you specifically help and support?
Currently, I'm working with FareShare and Mustard Tree, and what I'm wanting to do is bring all of the request poems together into some kind of book to raise a bit more money for the charities. So I've been in contact with both Mustard Tree and FareShare, and they seem really, really supportive. So at the moment, I'm putting out to see if there are any more requests that want to go in the book, and the process of editing it, and also finding out how best to get it printed and get it out there, really, in order to help the charities. So it's all steam ahead, really.
Amazing. Good luck to you on this very special
thank you.
project. So what impact would you say you've made so far?
It's hard to say, but I'm obviously getting awareness about the issues has been, I've been able to get it shared by quite a lot of people, and raising money through the requests. Hopefully that's helped out. The charities have said that that's helped with their emergency appeals, and also prompted other people to donate to the charities off their own accord. So I'd like to think that it's helped in that way.
Lovely. How can interested people reach out to you and learn more?
They can reach my Twitter handle, which is @AntJP01.
Thank you. What advice would you have for people looking to start a similar movement in their own community, or to maybe just get inspired to use their skills?
Just to go ahead and give it a try. You never know where you're going to be unless you give it a try, and who knows where it might lead.
Lovely. So, what I'm trying to do in my podcast is have signature questions that I'm asking all my guests, and hopefully that leads to some very rich variety for everyone listening. So, what do you love the most about Manchester?
I would say I love the library. I love just the ever-evolving sort of skyline, and how everything sort of seems to be changing, and the vibe of basically life going on in the city.
Lovely. And what's your favourite place in Manchester?
I would say my favourite place, and it's been one of my favourite places since I was a kid, was the Science and Industry Museum. Seeing all the old trains and all the experimentation bits of it, and just seeing like all the science, and how Manchester obviously was at the forefront of the Industrial Revolution as well.
Something I think I need to visit. I'm still figuring
Definitely.
out places. What's the most important life lesson you've learned?
Not to give up, to keep on going, and as I say, give things a try, and you never know where it leads, really.
Great philosophy. If someone wrote a book on your life, what would they title it?
You never know.
I like that.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you, Anthony, for talking to me and my listeners. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy the 5th episode of the Meet the Mancunian podcast. Tune in every week for a new episode.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.